Alright, so I have been playing this deck for like 2 months now. Um, and I've tried a lot of different stuff with this deck and this boss. And this was kind of just like pretty much where I landed after like about 2 months of just testing this multiple times each week. This is the kind of the 50 that I landed on. I just kind of wanted to make a video just basically talking about the deck and like kind of the state of like where it is after the stuff from the LM set. But yeah, so I'll start with the egg. So it's just for the Digimon. Yeah, this is just the best egg. This basically says like the turn that I push out, you can't set me to 1 at worst, and then at best this card says my memory setter now gives me 4 memory. So yeah, it's just the best thing. That's just kind of the bottom line. So the top end for the Ragnas, I actually just play 4 of the Ace. I've tried a list that was 3 of the Ace and 3 of the old Ragna, the starter deck one. I've tried 2 of this guy and 3 of him. I've tried 2 and 4. Honestly, this is just like what this deck is trying to do. And it's unfortunate because I also like really like the old Ragna. It's just you're kind of asking for a lot already. Like in playing this deck, you're kind of like asking for a lot of stuff to go your way so that you can resolve your game plan in that of either end of turn DNA or blast DNA. You already need so much, and unfortunately, the old Ragna is just asking for like this much more than this card. This was just like the way more consistent boss. It's less like high roll gotcha. So that's kind of why I just said we're just going to play 4 of this, and that's that. You can't play 3 of this card and only 3 of this card because you're going to bottom 1 of them and the other 2 are in security. So yeah, that's definitely a no-fly zone. So yeah, 4 of the Ragna Ace, and that's it. Now the BT3 one is good. I don't actually own that card, but I honestly wouldn't play it anyway. If anything, it would be a 1 of. I see some people play 2, but the way that I have the list built, you kind of like basically just don't need it. It is nice that it is effectively like making the same sort of indestructible Digimon as when you blast DNA, but I mean, if you have this, then you might as well just bank on this instead of, that sec +1, because like this is the card that's going to win you the game. So yeah. For the 6s, I have 4 of the EX6 Durandamon and 2 of the starter deck one. So realistically, the actual only reason that this is in here is because this evos for 3. And that can save you sometimes with like training and stuff. Yes, training is in here, but we'll get to that when we get there. Moreover, though, like this is kind of like where you want to be. Like Ragnaloardmon is good, but like I think you just get way more out of your stack with this guy on the top, especially with like some of the other stuff that I'm playing with, like the inheritable on the EX6 Juramon, to trash security when you raid into something. Like this helps you control board, and then you get that trash piercing raid. The inheritable's like the best inheritable for your Ragna. This one is similar. This one is the no options trigger. This one's no card triggers. So like it's really unfortunate whenever you are swinging with your Ragnaloard and then you hit a Mag X's security and they hit the blue-black Magna and just de-digit your guy. So that's like super annoying. So this prevents that from happening. So that's good. Yeah, because it's all security effects. Digimon, Tamers, options, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think it's overall just better to push out of raising, go for your 6, get 2 to 3 checks in off of this, and then just clean up the game with the Ace. Also, like, it's sticky because, like, it's Ace is a thing, but that's why I think this one is better. than the starter deck one, because this guy, you just swing into their dude. Even if it's unsuspended, you just swing into it, and it's like, okay, do you really want to ace now? Because this guy can potentially be coming in at like 19,000 with like inherits and legend arm stuff. So yeah, that's kind of why I think that this is just the best level 6. These are here over the other Ragnaloardmon because of choices that are like just made later in the deck. But I just play 4 of this one. The old one is good. The immune to Digimon is very, very broken. But the main thing about this one is this on Digi can make itself immune to Digimon. You don't have to do the weird shit that you have to do with the starter deck one, where like you have to tuck something and then it can't be bounced, bottom decked, or deleted, or whatever it is. But yeah, if you tuck something under the 6, so we're talking about a 4-cost Evo, right? And then tucking something else underneath it for a minimum of 1, or if you play the gotcha of the line, the guys that are like on play tuck it underneath, which those cards are just bad. Then you can trigger it that way, but like it's way too high rolly. This is way more consistent. You just digi into this, it's immune to Digimon. If they have an option to out your stack, I mean, it is what it is, right? You're playing fucking Ragnaloardmon, so I mean, what are you gonna do? But the inherit is, while not as powerful as immune to Digimon, is sometimes it's weird, right? They're both good. In that, like, this one says you can't leave the battle area, period. So, like, weirdo shit, like, put your guy in security. You can't be bottom decked, period, like, by anything. You can't be bounced by anything. So, you know, but you can't leave the battle area other than by your own effects or deletion, I think is also just another, like, more consistent protection. Especially with, you know, how the Ragnaloardmon also has his inherited effects for protection. But yeah, overall, I just think this is a more consistent card. Also, these ones from EX6 being random, like 3-cost, basic, effectively options, are really good. Like 3-cost kill spell, kills anything that has as much or less DP. That's a hand mained for 3, by the way. Just to be more blunt about it. Yeah, it's hand main for 3 memory. You can tuck it under your level 6 or a legend arms, and then you destroy or you delete anything that has as much or less DP. And then this guy de-digivolves your opponent's whole board, basically. Because it, again, I think this one counts level. Yeah. By placing this card for 3 under a legend arms or level 6, de-digivolve 1. All of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP. Yeah, so that card's nuts. And their hand tucking effects are stupid. So yeah, that's the level 6s. 6 Durandas and 4 Ragnaloardmons. So for the 5s, it's pretty straightforward. And there's like there's no cheese in here, no end of turn DNA. It's just for this guy, because he's basically the one you want to build your stack with is this one. The inherit is when attack targets are switched, you trash security. You can, for 2, tuck him under your stack, and it gives your stack sec +1. The whole stack gets sec +1. And then on my turn, if something gets tucked underneath it, this guy gets raid and piercing, and it's also, again, it's the Digimon, so it's the whole stack. So yeah, this is just going to be your best option for red. And then you just have to play 4 copies of this card, because it has the taunt. The hand main is for 2. You give something start a main and attacks. And then the inherited effect is when your Digimon would be deleted, you can trash a legend arms and sources, and it's not deleted. So it's additional protection for Ragnace. Also, the your turn once per turn on this one is if something gets tucked under it, it gets block or reboot. That's not as important. It's mostly here to tuck and get the protection. And then, like, if your stack will more than likely live the turn that you taunt, and then you just basically just want to tuck another one. And then you have 2 instances of can't be deleted. So, yeah, really good. Not much to say about those. For the level 4s, this is honestly the steepest part of the deck, but this is kind of just what I've landed on. So 4 of this guy, because this guy is just a random 6k buff. For 1, give your guy +4, and then the inherited is +2 on your turn. So this is what I mean, like, we're now just randomly swinging in for 18 with this guy. So you, for 1, tuck it under your stack. Your stack gets +4. This inheritable gives you +2. Sometimes you literally have this as your level 4 in the stack. And then you Digivolve for this guy. And then when he attacks Raid Piercing, Trash Security. This guy's like 19 swinging into whatever. So yeah, this is just going to be your best level 4. Hands down. Because again, like the deck is... I personally feel like the deck plays better as like a just rush down aggro pushers, because you're playing a single stack deck. So you push your one stack out, you just need to do as much damage as possible. And if you die, then I mean, it is what it is. You're probably going to lose that game anyway. Like if you set up big blocker, then they're just going to remove it on their turn instead of on like whenever you swing or whatever. Chances are you're not going to die in security, though, unless you hit like a sec bomb. Because you're literally 19,000, 20,000 swinging. Yeah. Anyway, and then the other level 4 is 2 of the BT3 Zuba Eager. And again, this card is just facilitating the overall game plan, where you just need to hit as hard as possible, and then Ragna needs to be able to clean the game up. This card just says, it's a vanilla, obviously, but this card's inherited says, while this Digimon is level 7, it gains Sec +1. So when you're Ragna, you just get Sec +1, period. So we're talking like two checks off this guy, and then because you're going to get the Sec +1 from, what's it called, tucking this dude, or another card later. So you'll be 2 checks off this, and then start of your turn, or start of your main, the egg puts the level 5 back in your hand. So yeah, start of your main, this guy goes back to your hand, you put it under Ragna. Now Ragna's 3 checks, that's all their security. And then you just need one more swing to win. And then hopefully your Ragna can Ragna and be immune to everything in a giant tower. So obviously the steep part about this is there's literally 6 level 4s. But honestly, the biggest problem for this deck is your hand being a shitload of the line and nothing else. And yeah, it's just not ideal. Granted, yes, I know the Legend Arms cards can tuck under your stack, but I mean, a lot of the ones that we're not playing, I'm gonna be honest, this is just not it for me. So yeah, the black level 4 is good. The black one that came out of EX6 is good. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at with this. And if you notice, they're all red. All of the level 4s are red. And the reason as to why is because of another choice later. But again, we're working to it. We got to get to the rest of the deck after the Digimon. So it's 4 of this Ludo to search. You're a piece reliant deck. There's not much more to say. This adds Ragna and a Legend Arms. Ragna and a Legend Arm. And digs 5. So yeah, and he's black, so he digis over this. The red old BT3 Zubamon only digis over red. So yeah, that's why 4 copies. You just need to see your pieces, so we're just not going to mess around with that. And then for the other rookies, I have 2 of this Ludo. This is for 1 tuck under. Your Digimon gets plus 2,000 till the end of your opponent's turn, and the inherited effect is opponent's turn plus 2. So this just makes your Ragna beefier. Yeah, it sucks this guy doesn't have an inheritable, but it is what it is. You just need your pieces too badly. And then 2 of the Spotamon. So this guy kills Floodgates for 1. The inherit is when attacking, delete one of your opponent's 3 or less. But also this guy for 1 just tucks, you get the draw card. On play, you don't really use that much, because really if you're hard playing anything for 3, it's this guy to dig 5. But it is an option to you where you can pitch 1 Legend Arms and draw 2. So yeah, this guy does say Digi over 1 over red or black, but Legend Arms and Trader. No, it's Kudomon or Kakinmon for 0. So the Legend Arm Eggs, it just goes over for 0. The last rookie in the deck is for Uko. Because again, you are a piece reliant deck. This helps you get early game chip and turbo out. I actually stole this idea from, well, I mean, the greater Digimon community, but specifically for Ragna, I actually took this from someone from my locals that plays Omni Ace, and he plays 4 of these, which is probably a very, bland vanilla take for Omni Ace, but I'm like, that's a good idea. I should just do that in Ragna also, because we're kind of trying to achieve the same game plan. We just need our pieces. Omni-Ace is an overall better Blast DNA deck, but it's kind of the same thing. You still need your pieces. This helps with that. This lets you keep tempo up by hatching you an egg. You can literally just let this sit here if you want. You don't even have to swing with it. It's matchup dependent, right? Like if you're like into Imperial, you can just leave this guy for an extra turn, and then you can swing with him before they push out and DNA you, etc., so on and so forth. You know, that's neither here nor there. It's mostly just because you set them to 1, it just makes their turn 1 awkward. You don't give them the option to Digi to champion in the back and then play a Tamer or like a Mem Boost. You don't give them that option. You tell them you can play a Mem Boost or you can Digi into a champion. And then you push out and search. So yeah, that's why the Uko, I feel like, fits really well in your bottom end. Yes, the Ukos can clog, but honestly, like, you get to Ragna, you win the game. Like, if you get to Ragna, it's a very good chance you're just going to win. If you swung in 2 checks with the Durandamon, and then you're going Ragna for potentially 2 to 3 more checks, I mean, you probably win. So Tamers, yes, I actually do play Tamer in this. I play 3 of the tie. So now this was a recent decision, not to play the tie. I've tried the tie on and off, but to actually play 3 was a very recent decision that I made. And what you could honestly do is cut a tie and play a 7th level 2, or level 4. I would play another one of these if I cut the tie, but and play 7 level 4s. But so this deck has the ability to play out of being choked to 1 because of your egg, right? But sometimes that's just simply not enough. And the tie is also just furthering our game plan, and we just need to beat them down when we push out of raising and just swing as hard as we can. You will not always get a chance to play this card. As in, like, some decks are just simply not going to give you the time to play this card for 4. Which is fine. It is what it is. At that point, that's just a game that you're playing, and you will just have to maneuver around being choked to 1. But god damn it, if you play this card, your deck feels unbeatable because you have 4 memory at the start of pretty much every turn because of your egg. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy. And the Sec +1 is almost always going to be live because we're building a single stack. And then when you get Ragna out, he has like 7 million sources. So, yeah, this card is very good. Also, 3 copies because you want to see this in, you know, most matches. Obviously, like I said, you're not always going to play this card, but like in most matchups, you do want to see this so you don't get choked to 1 and you don't get outpaced in those matchups where you can play this. But also, I put the 3rd one in because we're already high rolling, right? So you might as well just get these out of security. That's literally why the 3rd one is here, because well, for one, it always seemed like the 2 were at the bottom of the deck. But I was like, I'll just play 3 and just hit this guy out of security. And then we are just, yeah, we're off. So options. I went with double Trident Arm. This has been a lot of different stuff. This has been the Ragna option, the level 6. I've played, what's it called? Scramble in this slot. I've played Crimson Blaze and this card. But yeah, I've tried a number of different things. Also, additional copies of the other options that I'm playing. But this card is like weird for this deck, right? Because it's a black option, but we are going for the aggro red strategy. Again, this card is just a Sec Bomb, right? DDG3 Sec Bomb, crazy. Also, if we don't have our Wombo combo, right, and we do go into a Breeway Ludramon stack and mute a Digimon, then you DDG3 taunt them, this is just another taunt, right? We're just guaranteeing the Ragna DNA play off of this. So that was kind of why I landed on this. There's that 1-drop black option that's just a taunt. That card's just bad. That literally just doesn't do enough. This, again, is a Sec Bomb. It also just says DDG3, which is broken, because DDG is broken. That's half the reason why Ragna is even good, because DDG is broken. Like, Ragna as a boss. Let me just preface, this deck sucks. But Ragna as a boss is crazy. So yeah, that's kind of why I ended up with these. Has there been times where I literally can't cast this? Well, yes, but I'm going to get into Ragna, and then yes, I can use it. So it's not like a super big deal. That's kind of the thing with this, right? Like, if you're not using this on level 6, you're just going to get into Ragna anyway. It'll be live if you really do need it. But again, if you make it to Ragna, you probably win. So double Garnet boost. I've had 4 of this. That's kind of like the Trident arms have been extra copies of this. This card is good, but it's just too expensive. Like, you need to play this. Like, you 100% definitely need to play this card, but it's just too expensive. 3 cost is just, it's hefty. Which is why I replaced the other 2 with these trainings. Yes, I understand half of my deck, well, definitely not half my deck, but like a third of my deck is black cards. But I don't care, because the line that I'm trying to build is all red Digimon. And this is, the delay for these is whenever your Digimon would Digivolve into a red Digimon, not when one of your red Digimon would Digivolve into a red Digimon. That's why I wasn't playing Scrambles anymore, because that specifies that the Digimon you're digiing from needs to be its color. So, yeah. I took the Scrambles out and just went with the trainings. And, yeah, these are good. These are super good. They make your turn where you're digiing to this guy for 4 way less awkward. Because, like, you're obviously just not going to pass them on as much. It also allows you to go into this Durandamon and potentially keep turn and do the thing where you tuck underneath him, and then he gets plus 3k and sec plus 1, which again is just like this plus tide. This guy's randomly just 3 checks, and he's checking top. So, yeah, that's the last card in the deck is this garbage. Yeah, this card sucks. This card's actually not good, but you still play 1, and the reason why you play 1 is not to hit it out of security. The reason you play 1 is because when you build Ragna, okay, and then it passes back to you, and he is now 100% not immune to everything and anything, you are, like, trying to go, like, Raiji Ludamon, tuck, so you have your stack of Ragna with, you know, your level 6s, this guy, right, whatever, rookie, whatever, level 4, and then this guy, because you taunted, right? So, your stack is looking something like this. Spada, Zuba Eager, this guy, Breeway, Duranda, whatever, right? Egg, and then this dude. Yeah, so I just realized that you can't see the whole stack because this fucking Ragnaloardmon has 7 sources. But anyway, the point is, when we're looking at something like this scenario, you are preventing from deletion once, can't leave the battle area, and blocker inheritable, whatever. But this guy can still die. He is definitely still mortal. This isn't a, this isn't a fucking this isn't like a Mag X scenario. So that's where this card comes in and why you play the clutch 1 of, because this card allows you whenever, like when and if, hopefully they don't, but if they out your Ragna, you can tuck whatever you want, but you can play anything out of sources. So ideally, right, well, not ideally your Ragna lives, but in a situation where your Ragna does die, ideally you want to have this card because you can just play back out one of the 6s and just blast DNA again. There's also very, very funny, kooky stuff you can do where you tuck a Ragna under your stack with this card, then they try to delete this Ragna. You save it from deletion by trashing whatever, then you can activate this card's delay and just play out the other Ragna. And now you just have another Ragna. He comes out on play when Digi, immune to your opponent's effects, trash security. So yeah, you can do very funny stuff like that with this card. That being said, this card sucks. This card is a brick. It's very bad, but that's why you play 1. Because whenever you build your stack, it's an Egyptian god card. But until you've built your stack, this card fucking sucks dick. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. That is my 50 for Ragna. This is the most consistent, in quotations, bracketed, underlined, bold, and italics. The most consistent that I could have made this deck after all of my testing. This is the best version. I pretty much landed on something similar to this, then tried a whole bunch of other builds, and then just came to the realization that if you're going to try to play this boss, this is just it. You're going into this guy, and that's it. But yeah, that's all I got. So let me know what you think, and see ya. Bye.